In this video, I'm going to try to show that the 7 Noahide laws, or the 7 laws of Noah, or the covenant made with Noah in Genesis 9, these laws can be found in the text of the 10 Commandments, or the 10 utterances that we're all familiar with in Exodus 20 and Deuteronomy 5. For those who are not familiar with the Noahide laws, I'll just read this a bit of this paragraph from Encyclopedia Britannica. I'm not using a Jewish source here, just to show that it's well-known and a well-sourced concept, nothing new. So the Noahide laws, also called Noachian laws, a Jewish Talmudic designation for 7 biblical laws given to Adam and to Noah before the revelation to Moses on Mount Sinai, and consequently binding on all mankind. Beginning with Genesis 2:16, the Babylonian Talmud listed the first 6 commandments as prohibitions against idolatry, so no idol worship, so just monotheism, no blasphemy or cursing the name of God, no murder or harm, no adultery or sexual immorality, and no robbery or theft of any kind, and the positive command to establish courts of justice, and then to enforce those laws. And after the flood, a 7th commandment given to Noah, the prohibition of eating the flesh cut from a living animal, or no animal abuse. So those are the 7 laws, and I'm going to try to show that they're present in the 10 commandments. So here we'll use Deuteronomy 5. You shall have no other gods besides me. So we discussed the 7 is about monotheism, no idol worship, one God. No sculpted image or likeness. Again, no idol worship in the 7. No bowing down, so this is actual serving these things. Again, no idol worship is covered. And you shall not swear falsely by the name of the Lord your God. So you cannot blaspheme. This is covered in the 7 as well. Nor can you, in a court of law, swear to something that isn't true. So this would be establishment of courts of justice as well. Observe the Sabbath. We're going to leave all things to do with the Sabbath for this one, because I want to focus on some other things. So we're just going to leave anything to do with the Sabbath day alone for now. Honor your father and your mother. Okay, so this is one that doesn't appear to be part of the 7, because it wasn't listed in the original 7 that we saw earlier. However, here's a source that implies or tells you that this is something that the Gentiles already did. So, and it covers some of the other things as well. Do not lust after your fellow man's wife. Do not scheme to bring about her divorce so that you can marry her. And it goes on. The prohibition was already included in the prohibition to commit adultery, which is part of the 7. We saw adultery was part of the original 7. Adultery and sexual immorality. So there was no question. The need to accept God as Israel's master hardly had to be spelled out. Neither did the commandment to not to worship competing deities, or the need to swear, or the need not to swear an oath by any other deity, or to observe the Sabbath, seeing that God himself had observed a Sabbath. Nor was there a need to decree to honor one's parents. Every Gentile does so without having been ordered to do so by God. So there it is, saying it didn't need to be spelled out to the Gentile. They already did it, and it's part of what they do at saying that it's already part of proper conduct for the Gentile, i.e. the 7 Noahide laws. So you continue down a little bit, and in this one we're going to use the actual text from Exodus 20. This is Parashat Yitro, which is, it's named after Moses' father-in-law, Jethro. So when you continue, you should not murder, you should not commit adultery, don't steal, and do not bear false witness against your neighbor. Again, we notice these are all grouped together. They're all in the 7. They're all covered by these original 7. Now, this is the one that isn't often discussed. This is the one that might surprise some people, including some rabbis. You shall not covet your neighbor's house, his wife, his male or female slave, or his ox or his ass, or anything that is your neighbor's. And we covered this in the earlier source as well. But in Mitzvah 4:16, where it's talking about not desiring the money of your friend, the word for your friend here, the root is heber, which is friend, and it also happens to be one of the 7 names of Moses. As you see here, these are all referring to Moses. He was called Heber because he connected the Jewish people to their Father in heaven. And then you'll notice Jethro also has 7 names, so they both have 7 names. And how about that? One of them is the same. Heber is one of the names of Jethro. I'm telling you this because it implies that this is a commandment that applies to both Jew and non-Jew. But there's another reason I'm telling you this as well. Let's continue. Not to desire the money of your friend, that we were prevented from fixing in our thoughts to desire what is in the hand of one of our brothers, the children of Israel, since the fixing of the desire for that thing in our heart will become a cause to create machinations to get it from him, even though it is not his will to sell them by purchase or exchange, or if we cannot acquire it in any other way, by force. And it is stated, you shall not desire the house of your neighbor, etc. And Rambam wrote that the 2 negative commandments, which are you shall not covet, which is in the order of Vayishma Yitro. In the order of Vayishma Yitro, who is Jethro. So we saw one of his 7 names was quoted at the very beginning of this paragraph, and here is Jethro, just happens to show up. So they're saying here the coveting and the desiring are 2 separate things. Yeah, like it says here, rather they are two matters. And then they continue. But very interesting that Jethro and one of his names just happens to show up here. So we'll continue quickly to the following paragraph. The root of this commandment is known, since distancing theft from among men is useful for all, and the intellect is a trustworthy witness to the thing. And there is no lengthy discussion of its laws, as all of its content is elucidated in Scripture. Now here's where we get into the 7 laws and the proof of it all. And it is practiced in every place and at all times by males and females. All people of the world are also obligated about it, since it is a branch of the commandment against theft, which is one of the 7 commandments that all of the people of the world were commanded. And do not err, my son, with this well-known tally of the 7 commandments of the Noahides, mentioned in the Talmud, Sanhedrin 56b, as truthfully these 7 are only like general principles, but they have many details. And then it goes into the various details, how it seems like these are just simple laws, but they're actually categories with many details. And so too, the matter of idolatry is all considered one commandment for them, but there are many, many details. As behold, they are the same regarding it as Israel, since they are liable for everything that an Israelite court would kill about. And so too, we can say that since they are warned about the matter of theft, that they are also warned about all of its distancings. So how to stay away from theft and build a fence around it, as it were. And my intention is not to say that they are warned about it with this, or about this with a negative commandment like Israel. Rather, they were warned about it more generally in these 7. So, I found these sources very interesting. I'd love to hear anyone's opinion about any of this. You can get a hold of me if you like. Thank you.